Yo, what is going on, y'all? It's been a minute since I've really put my foot on land and tried to like really talk to, the people, get a vibe of how y'all are feeling, what's going on. I just be so caught up in work, family, trying to stay up and at it. But I felt like it was calling me today. You know what I mean? And usually when I make a video and post it on this channel, I'm usually thinking about the next generation. So I'm usually thinking about my brothers, you know, or I'll see something that I feel like involves children in a negative way. And, somebody should say something. Somebody should speak out. We should open our mouths to things that are affecting our communities. You know what I mean? At least that's what I believe. But I don't really have much of a topic today. I just feel like I needed to touch base. How are y'all doing? How's everybody feeling? Like let's make a comment section of everybody just sharing their thoughts. Like, how are you feeling? Like shit is wild. Like, excuse me, I'm not trying to curse that much, but things are wild. And it sometimes feels like the remedy to things being wild is for it to get wilder until it boils over into something beautiful. But I feel like that's a slippery slope to be on because, right now people feel like, and I agree, we're in an economic crisis globally, definitely globally. And if you have family abroad, I'm sure you've been hearing from your family back home, like how hard it is, like how tough things are getting. Like people, like Americans, and us in the West in general, we get a little self-censored when it comes to politics. And the only time we concern ourselves with the rest of the globe is when it comes to us wanting to feel better about ourselves or feel pity on others, or us looking at it from a purely media driven stereotypical standpoint of each region of the world. So we really don't give a fuck is what I'm trying to say. And that's not something that like anybody should hang their hats on and be proud of. I'm actively trying to stay in the loop of information for the rest of the world and try to, just get something to where, people are going through shit the same way we've always went through things. But something about this time period just feels like there's an exasperated effort to make us feel very heavy and tense in this moment. And most of us don't really care to think about history for any like beneficial reason to today. Like yeah, we'll learn from X, Y, and Z if we have to. But I'm very curious now to kind of think about like what were people thinking right before like certain situations on Earth. Like what were they thinking before? I want to know what the people of the world were thinking before World War II kicked off. Like I'm talking about the everyday family. I'm talking about the black family in Georgia that's life's been hell for them regardless of who they are at war with, who they weren't at war with. You know what I'm saying? Like black soldiers coming back home from World War I and just getting treated like shit, getting lynched, you know what I'm saying, getting murdered. And this ain't about that though. But it's like what were those people at that time period before the world went into chaos on a global level? What were they thinking? What was the mood like? Did they feel like things were changing? Was there like a tenseness in their nature all of a sudden? Who knows? I have no idea. Um, it's just tough. And I feel like what's making it more tough though is people won't just say that. Like everybody's like, well, it's like there's a recipe for everything. Sometimes motherfuckers just want to cry and should have space to cry, complain. You know what I mean? Like vent, because sometimes that's how you get your solutions, is by crying and venting and going through things and realizing that's not for me. I can't keep doing that. You know what I mean? I think one of the things that's gonna hurt a lot of people, um, and hopefully y'all are thinking about this too, is don't get so desensitized to things that you're not taking care of the older you. I don't care how old you are. You could be my grandmother's age. You still got to take care of yourself 5, 6, 7 years down the line. Be that person that's kind of like there for yourself and there for people. You know what I mean? Like show up. Like the same way we show up to work, show up for yourself. I was just thinking like we put in 8, 10, 12 hours, some of us, like at work every day. every day. But when you come home, you so lethargic, you so tired, you so beat down, you just want to relax, watch the game, watch a TV show, scroll on your phone. You know what I'm saying? Unwind. That's what we figure is unwinding because we're getting away from our reality. And then 6:30 that next morning, you back up at it. 7 a.m. that next morning, you back up at it. And it really just make you think like, how much time are you giving yourself to do something impactful, to be great? You know what I mean? Like that's the scary part is I don't think people are. I don't think people are giving themselves a chance to like to be heard, to be understood. And sometimes the people around you aren't going to be the ones to hear you. They're not going to be the ones to understand you. Sometimes it'll take them years to get to a certain state of mind that you were at, or it'll take you years to get to a certain state of mind that they were at. You got to have grace. You got to be able to take the, how do I want to say this? You need to be able to take the punches, but understand that everything's not intentional. Even though they're hitting you, it's not always intentional. So it's like, it's hard for us though, because our egos are so fucking inflated. Like our egos are crazy. It's insane what our egos are like right now. People are feeling very deserving. They're feeling very intoxicated with their own journey. And they're kind of getting drunk off of little successes, and they're getting high off of very temporary gains, and things aren't making sense across the board. It's not just a certain group of people that are feeling it. I mean, that's just the economic standpoint of it. That's just what money will make you do. That's just what having to, go to work every day, show up, be that responsible person, be that person that's saying, you know what, I can't quit. I can't just give up because times are tough. It was probably tough for my dad. It was probably tough for my mom. You know what I mean? It was tough for their parents. But see, that's the catchy. That's like the slippery slope shit. Always honor that hard worker within you. Like always honor that that fighter that's inside of you by having discipline. Because if you have no discipline, I mean that's like the key to being stuck is having no discipline. Because discipline it allows you to understand when you're being too comfortable. And it allows you to know what level of comfort is suited for you. Everybody's levels are different based on how they grew up. Some of us, when we're undisciplined, we feed into our desires because we don't have a real, you don't really have like a real, I don't know how else to say this, but like layout of how life works. You know what I mean? So you are undisciplined. You feel like things should be given to you. You feel like things should just work in your favor. That's kind of a telltale sign of somebody that's undisciplined is because when you are disciplined, you know that to have something, you have to work on something or make something or build something. You don't just get it. It's not just given to you. There's your God given, and then there's the things that I'm sure your heart and your mind are lusting after, whether it's material things or whether it's a material concept where you just want safety, comfort, big house, white picket fence, all these things. You got to work for that. Unfortunately, you have to work for that. That's the crazy part. A long time ago, if you were good with your hands and if you knew how to build and not, waste your life away gambling or being a drunkard or just being a super aggressive, violent person, if you were able to, beat those three stereotypes or four stereotypes, then you could be a skilled person of some nature. And your skill might be workshop, your skill might be crafting, whatever the case may be. And you would develop other skills that go along with those skills and help you in this way and that way. So you were able to be sufficient enough to have discipline instilled in yourself. And through your parents, you get that same discipline, or through your children through you will get that same discipline is what I'm trying to say. But right now we're as unskilled as ever, most of us, you know what I mean? We come out the womb, we go to school, and we wait for school to tell us where we kind of fit. If they're good in science, they might be a doctor or a scientist or an engineer. If they're good in math, they might be a teacher or, a doctor or, a nuclear physicist. Who knows? If they're not really good at any of those things, but they really like writing, they might be able to work for the New York Times. So we've given ourselves this agency, but also taken it away. Because you can be anything you want to be. Your kids can be anything they want to be. But then it's like the parents are split. There's some parents, which culturally a lot of us, a lot of people from around the world can relate to this. Our parents usually pick our kind of dreams for us. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like that's one half of the story. You're gonna be a doctor. You're gonna be an athlete. You're gonna be a veterinarian. Whatever the case may be, you're gonna do this. You're gonna be a lawyer. You're gonna work for your brother's company or my company, whatever the case may be, or my store. Then there's the other side of people that parents kind of weren't there to apply that for them, and they let them kind of just, whether intentionally or unintentionally, fend for themselves in terms of what am I gonna do in life. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand how new of a concept that is. That's a very new concept in human history, where you're just letting your child kind of figure out what they're gonna do. You have a way of living around the world, right? Your family typically, or people historically, I'm saying around the world, you know, if your dad knows how to make swords, why would you not learn? Your dad is able to have a family, he's able to feed himself, he's able to take care of you through this skill. So you learn that skill and it's like passed down. Like these, you know, in Game of Thrones where they're like the Valerians and the Baratheons, all these people, the Starks, they have like a history based on where they're from because that's kind of how life works. If you lived in this climate, in this terrain, in this area, you might be 100% more likely to be a skilled carpenter than you would be like a skilled goldsmith somewhere else or whatever the case may be, where there's a lack of those resources to even need that skill. Nowadays, they've got people kind of on this same set, like build a bear workshop factory line, where you don't really get to, you're not learning from your parents anything but how to also be a good worker, how to also be a good person. You still need your parents for morals, but a lot of us are losing that. A lot of us never had parents who instilled morals. Maybe your parents were somebody that didn't have morals themselves and kind of just leaned into different things, and certain aspects of life became a result of negative things in your life. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of the hand you were dealt. We got to have sympathy for each other. We got to be able to want to understand where we're coming from, where the differences lie, like why they're there. Not so much what are the differences, but why is it like that? Most of us just really just be curious, like why do y'all do shit like that? Why do you do this? Why do people from here do this? Why do people like that do that? You know what I'm saying? But the immediate thing in your mind is like, oh no, that's bad. Like don't have a conversation. Don't bring that up. You should definitely look for ways to have interactions with people to where you grow to trust each other enough to know that I'm not trying to transgress against you. I'm not trying to cross a barrier against you. I'm simply trying to figure out something that I've been struggling with. And it's okay to struggle. There's nothing wrong with a struggle. It's the craziest shit in my life is that nowadays we really do feel like we shouldn't struggle. Some of this is gonna happen to a lot of us. Let's just be honest. Whether the pandemic happened or not, some of these things are gonna happen to a lot of us. You know, we feel it heavier because things did occur alongside it. But at the same time, we gotta start looking at ourselves in the mirror a little bit more and it's like, what is it that I can do for myself? Like what is it that I can really do? A lot of this is like decluttering your mind. These games that people are playing, especially in the online like sphere, that shit is dangerous. And it's not dangerous like boogeyman dangerous, although it could be. It's more so just dangerous because you don't want to be processing so many different things from so many different perspectives all at once. Because you'll never get a read of what's really real. What's real is what's happening to you, but you need to understand what's happening to you so you can get understanding through learning from others. But ultimately, follow me here, what matters and what's pivotal is what's happening to you. Don't let yourself go chasing other people's stories, chasing other people's lives. Figure out what you need to do. Get on accord with yourself. Sacrifice. For a year, I'm not going to keep up with none of this stuff I was keeping up with. You ain't even got to say for a year, I'm going to go to the gym every day. For a year, I'm going to do this. Remember, your life is a journey. Stop trying to cram everything in 6 months. Stop trying to cram everything into a year. For a year, just be like, look, I'm not finna go out through the world thinking about what's happening in everybody else's life. I'm going to focus on what's happening in my life and the life of my immediate others, friends, family, whatever. That's it. If you're not in my circle, if you're not me, whatever the case may be, I'm sorry, but I don't want to take that in. A lot of y'all don't know like how much shit like that weighs on you. A lot of us don't know that. You can take in somebody else's problems and be weighed down by their pressure. It be family members. You hearing like, you know, You're hearing somebody hurting that you love and you care about, and you're seeing it. But you, for whatever reason, are not able to, in that moment or at that point in time or in that place, help them. Then you need to go out and get help. Or look from within and figure out how you can pull the help out of you. But that's going to be a harder fight. I'm not saying run away because somebody's going through something. I'm not saying don't have nobody's back. I'm just saying don't take on so much of the world if you're burning at home. Because now you're just overstressing all of us. You made us think you can help, but you're really going to be in need of help too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at least be upfront. At least tell people, look, I can help you out, but I'm at my limit myself. So I'm going to try to do what I can for you, but I cannot guarantee it's going to be everything you're looking for. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try to help you. That's the empathy. That's the sympathy. That's the, I could be in your situation and I just would want somebody to just try to help me. You know what I mean? But I've been rambling for what? 15 minutes? That's way too long. I'm trying to keep these short. I'm going to go ahead and upload this. Hopefully, I think we're at a subscriber count of 4 right now. So hopefully maybe some of y'all stick around or some of y'all find this video and, get something from it. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for dropping by. Peace.